What we're going to look at in this little video is Trimet's 2013 Our Accomplishments List. We're going to look at this from a blogger's point of view, having been a blogger and a 15-year former employee of the agency. We're going to assess the Trimet management accomplishments. Okay, let's do the left side first. Safety management system. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't have the slightest idea what that actually is, and I don't think anybody does, except some nice words on a piece of paper. Operators and supervisor recertification. Yes, they've been doing that. That, in reality, is an attempt to create a situation where if something does go wrong out on the field, operator does something, they can blame it on the operator. This is their attempt to find ways to blame incidents on operators. Now, I'm not going to say that all of those recertification classes are bad, because obviously it's good to get a refresher course on laws, etc. But, you know, when you have 25-year safe drivers going into these classes, I always resented it, because I was one of the safest drivers ever at Trimet. I mean, I never had any accidents in 15 years, nothing. Nobody ever hit me, and I never hit anybody, and that's amazing. I always resented those. 74 new buses in service, definitely something that should have been done a long time ago, but, oh, wait a minute, look, parentheses, 51 of those were in 2012. Attaboy! You know, see how they have the small print under there? Bus ticket printers, well, that was $20 million down the drain as far as I'm concerned. Was not necessary. I don't know why they just had to have those, other than screwing bus riders out of their 2-hour fare. True, the transfers were not reliable completely, but that's not worth $20 million. It would have been better to just give Opel a 3-hour transfer. Hours of service policy, very controversial within the Trimet organization itself. There was never really any evidence that the hours of service was creating accidents. The only evidence that was seen was some fender benders. There was never any accident accredited to hours of service. For example, the Sandy Day tragedy, worst accident in the history of Trimet, had nothing to do with hours of service. So this was more or less a public relations thing. PMLR, who cares? Mobile ticketing, definitely a plus. You know, it's something good. You know, not everybody thinks it's the greatest thing since white bread, but it's definitely a positive. Access transit grants, that's pass-through. That was money that comes from the Fed, so that's not really their accomplishment. That's a Fed accomplishment. Increased TVM reliability, I question that. Maybe not as bad as it used to be, but it's still pretty bad. $2.1 million for service reliability. We're on the right column now. $2.1 million for service reliability. Is service actually more reliable? I don't think so. 59 apps and counting. Who the hell knows what that means? Crime down. Okay, the statistics say the crime that they keep statistics on is down. Personally, I don't think that should be much of a relevant number. I mean, most rational people understand that the chances of getting mugged on the transit system are pretty small. But there's other things that crime statistics don't count, which would be nice to count. Like, how many fights were on the system last year? How many people had to be thrown off the bus last year? How many operators were threatened last year? How many domestic disputes, etc., etc. How many things happened on the bus? And you'll never get any accurate information about that. Employee self-service. People I know don't have the slightest idea how to use it. And you know, the Trinet, Trimet has its own internal web deal, and it's a super secret deal. They're so super secret over there that they make their employees change their passwords every 3 months. I don't have banks. I have bank accounts with considerable money in them that don't make me do that. Okay, but at Trimet, they want you to change your password every 3 months. That's how super secret they are. So obviously a lot of employees don't do that, and the hassle in getting it reset is a big deal. So I don't even think employees are even using the self-service. See, CAD, AVL, cutover, whatever that's supposed to mean. Accountability center launch. Okay, it's a mild accomplishment. There could be more over there, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. It's a step in the right direction. All that stuff, by the way, is because of the so-called audit, which pretty much put on the kid gloves for Trimet, but they did make some recommendations. You know that the reality is a lot harsher than what they were saying, but being an agency of the state, they don't want to criticize another agency of the state. And Trimet is an agency of the state, and that can be defined as the governor appoints the board, which makes it an agency of the state. West Side, SEP, I'm not sure what that even is. Smoke-free Trimet, that is Big Brother. That is regressive, not progressive, to take away more rights from Trimet riders and Trimet employees. And the ATU negotiations, they're putting that as an accomplishment. That's your biggest disgrace. So here's your typical list of baloney. This is the kind of thing you'd see from them, taking themselves credit for things that aren't even accomplishments and trying to make them accomplishments. It's a pathetic list. Out of all of these lists, maybe 3 things here they can brag about.